Alright guys, I am watching National Treasure, Edge of History right now, and Riley Poole has returned, and I'm so freaking hyped about it. I loved Riley Poole in the original National Treasures. He was my favorite character, and I remember watching, I don't remember if I had watched National Treasure prior to this, but I remember we watched National Treasure in school. And, like, because we were learning about history or something, and it was, like, a movie day, and we had to pick, like, a historical movie, and that was what it was, is National Treasure, because it talked about history, obviously. So I don't remember if I had seen the movie prior to this, but I remember, like, somebody, like, had said something, like, I reminded them of Riley, like, because I was, like, very techie back in middle and high, this was middle school, back in middle school, and then the second one came out. Love the second one as well, and now I'm hearing rumors and innuendo, as Bruce and Conrad would say, of a third one, which would be so sick. I would love to see a third one. The Edge of History one is super good so far. Like I said, Riley's in here, and Ben and Abigail, kind of in here. We'll let it slide if they're in here. Because Riley is on the phone with Ben at the beginning of his scene, so that's really cool, and like he's texting him and stuff like that. So yeah, like it makes me want to watch National Treasure movies, but I'm gonna watch something else after this because when we get to it, we'll talk about it. All right, guys, National Treasure. Oh my goodness, it's so good. I'm excited for this series. Like, I hope that it's more than one season. Like, if they never do another movie, like, I hope that they do, like, maybe, like, 4 or 5 seasons of this series. Spoiler alert. I did expect somebody to not be on Jess's side. I kind of figured, like, someone was, like, on the outs, or not on the outs, but on the other team, so to speak. Yeah, I don't think it's who they teased. Like, that's a little obvious. I think it's somebody else they didn't tease. Like, I think it's one of the friends other than the boyfriend, again, spoilers, alright? So we'll have to see. I'm very intrigued for next week. Maybe I kind of want to maybe get back into streaming. So maybe do a stream next week of watching that live if we could. I don't know if that would even work, but it'd be sick. I don't know if that's even going to work, because, like, things are happening in life, and that's crazy, and I might have to update you guys sooner than later on what I'm planning. But, yeah, I'm just really excited. Alright, so I'm going to watch King of the Ring Hell in a Cell match, Undertaker versus Mankind, because somebody posted this. It's on the screen. I'm going to read it quickly, so if you want to pause and read, and then we'll talk about it. Mankind versus Undertaker Hell in a Cell was not a good match. In fact, it was everything you complain about in modern-day wrestling. It was a spot fest. It was a spot fest. Mankind off the cage, Mankind through the cell, chokeslam on the thumbtacks, tombstone. I know this match is revered in the annals of wrestling history, but it's only for 2 major spots and legendary commentary from Jim Ross. The rest of the match was a lot of standing around to make sure Mankind wasn't dead and watching a concussed Mankind stumble around the ring. Spectacle. A massive amount of spots that will live forever in WWE history, but I repeat, it was not a good match. It was an awesome moment. There's a difference. So, I'm going to watch the match, and I'm going to tell you what I think after I watch the match. So, it's not too long, I don't think.
It is custom built for
let's see, it
injury.
starts at 147. Yeah. Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay, first thing, I didn't realize that spot happened so quickly in the match. I am, what did I say? Like, less than 10 minutes into the match, and the spot from the top of the table, or the top of the cell into the table already happened. Like, maybe this guy is onto something. Like, I don't know. Let me finish watching this match. Okay. Let's talk about this. I partially agree. It wasn't very much of a wrestling match. I do think that it was more of a spot fest. The tombstone, the end of the tax, it really was. There wasn't a whole heck of a lot of wrestling. So I partially agree. I hate, I can't speak. I hate that I have to say that, but I do partially agree that that is kind of the match. You know, you just had a lot of, you know, off the top of the cage, through the cage, onto the tacks, two times. Just a, not a mess, but it was a mess of a match. I don't really think it was a wrestling match. I would call it a maybe a hardcore match almost. That's what I would kind of put it into. Like, that's what I would say it was. So, I don't know. It's just a little bit weird, but maybe it wasn't. I guess, you know, a lot of the times WWE, when they would post that or talk about it, it was always the big spots, you know, going through the cage, going off the cage. I think that's what, you know, unless you watched it live, you know, that's all you see. Like, when it's in movies and stuff, they just talk about the big spots. And I guess I kind of agree that it was a spot fest. You know, there wasn't, like, technical wrestling, but I mean, it was the 90s, so there were a lot of, not very much technical wrestling happened then, but I don't know, I'm starting to maybe agree with that. I don't want to say I wholeheartedly agree, but I do agree a little bit with that. Alright guys, so I have been watching a lot of old school wrestling tonight. Watched King of the Ring, as you guys know, and then I just finished watching, or I'm still watching Royal Rumble 99, which I believe I've talked about this in the vlog before, but that was like legit the first match that I've ever watched, or first pay-per-view that I ever watched, because I distinctly remember going over to my cousin Sonia's house and her husband at the time, and I remember going over, I remember seeing Austin drive the limo in and all that stuff. I just legit remember all that. So, yeah, I think that was the first one. I'm gonna try to find tomorrow the first ever episode of Raw that I ever watched, like that I remember watching, because I know it was when they didn't have a ramp. Stone Cold had a long sleeve shirt and a hat on, and I remember that very distinctly as well. So, I don't know, random stuff that I freaking remember for some random reason. But let's do Song of the Day. Let's do Under the Gun by Kiss. It's a good song. But yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow as always. Hope you had a beautiful day. Be excellent to each other. Peace and rock on.